Miss Percival had spent her entire life feeling rejected and abandoned by the man she believed was her father, Mr. Hansen. She stood there, ready to confront the man who had denied her existence for years. On the other side was Mr. Hansen, who was adamant that he was not her father despite the overwhelming doubts hanging over his claims.
Percival, you past 31 been willing to accept you as his biological daughter. Now, Mr. Hansen, you sleep with Miss Percival's mother.
For 31 years, Miss Percival had always been told that Mr. Hansen was her father, but he had never been involved in her life, never accepted her, and flat out refused to take a DNA test. Meanwhile, her sister Jessica had been accepted by him from the moment she was born. Mr. Hansen stood firm, denying any possibility that Chantel Percival was his daughter. He claimed he was married, loyal to his wife, faithful, never straying, and definitely not sleeping with Chantel's mother at the time of conception. That was his story, and he wasn't budging.
Miss Percival,
Yes,
please,
ma'am.
why you feel Mr. Hansen has rejected you?
I feel like he's rejected me. Well, my whole life I've grown up who my father was, knowing
Then came the bombshell. Ms. Percival's mother, Charlene, took the stand and calmly shredded Mr. Hansen's claim of loyalty. According to her, he was anything but faithful. They weren't just casually involved. They were going back and forth, seeing each other off and on. At the same time, he was with his wife, Tracy. Charlene admitted she too had another man in her life during that period, but she was certain Mr. Hansen was the father. After all, he was there, in the mix, consistently.
Why is it that Mr. Hansen so strongly that he's the father?
Not sure why he doubts it, because of the simple fact I was with, and I told her, kept going back and forth, each other back and forth, and then
Mr. Hansen insisted he'd never cheated, never slipped up, not once. He even bragged about a 20-year marriage where he claimed fidelity was his badge of honor. But there was one glaring problem with his timeline. Ms. Percival was born just 1 month apart from another daughter Mr. Hansen did acknowledge. That's right, 2 babies, 28 days apart. Coincidence? Ms. Percival didn't think so, and neither did her mother.
And the
Never
fact
with her
that
after
your
we split up.
daughters are your contention that he in fact was going
Yes.
back and forth.
correct, Your Honor.
father.
That's a lie. That's a lie. With her after
Miss-
we
But as the conversation unfolded, the details became juicier. Mr. Hansen had been involved with another woman at the time of the alleged conception, a woman who would soon walk into the courtroom holding the key to a shocking revelation. The courtroom was about to be filled with more drama than anyone could have anticipated.
We're gonna have you go to the podium on the left.
Really? Are you serious? I can't wait for
Serious.
child support.
Huh?
Hold on 1 second before you state your name for the court.
Tracy Merchant.
Mr. Hansen, of course, denied everything. Again, claimed Tracy cheated on him and even brought up an alleged affair with his own brother to deflect. Suddenly, paternity wasn't the only thing in question. There were accusations flying like bullets in every direction. But amid the chaos, one thing stood clear. Mr. Hansen's denials were losing credibility fast.
Oh,
No, you cheated on me.
So, Mr. Hansen
Yes, Your Honor.
also denying that Miss Hansen is your daughter.
50-50 chance.
Yeah, no.
Because my
This was clearly a very emotional moment for Teresa. Imagine your dad saying that to you. When Teresa was around 11, Mr. Hansen told her that there was a possibility that he was not her father and another member of the family was her birth father. Imagine burdening a kid with such adult business.
So you grew up not knowing if father, the person you thought was your father, or your uncle,
Yeah.
was your biological.
I was brought up with him.
Mr. Hansen tried to make what little amends he couldn't. He promised to be for them no matter what the results said, but the sisters aren't going to let him off easily. Ms. Percival presented evidence that showed that Mr. Hansen had been with her mother.
But I have a real, and I don't mean to make you feel bad in any way. I'm not that kind of put you in my life. We'll
If you're
have.
not that kind of person, didn't want to make me feel bad, why would you?
The sisters also told the court how not having a father figure in their lives ruined their adulthood. Both sisters had gone after older men in search of that connection, and both had given birth by 16. Now is the moment for truth.
Mr. Hansen, you.
Yeah.
They say the truth always comes out in the end, but no one expected it to come crashing down like this. Not in front of Judge Lake, not with 2 innocent kids hanging in the balance, and certainly not with this level of chaos. Ashanti Clifton marched into court determined to prove that Sam Little was the father of her twins. Her goal? To get him to resume financial support.
Miss Clifton, you say the defendant, Mr. Little, stopped paying for your twins after finding out another man was also providing money. Now you say you are seeking the results of a paternity test to prove he's their father.
She said Mr. Little had been helping out until he discovered another man was also contributing money. That's when he slammed the brakes on any support, leaving Ashanti struggling. She didn't mince words. Yes, she had help from other men, but no, none of them thought they were the father. To her, Sam is the father at the end of the story, but Sam wasn't buying it.
Now, Mr. Little, you argue that when Miss Clifton's twins were 4 months old, you learned another man had claimed them as his own.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say she's all about the money?
Yes.
Well, the situation wasn't as simple as it seemed. Their whole relationship started when Ashanti came looking for a car, and Sam, a mechanic, helped her out. One thing led to another, and soon enough, the car wasn't the only thing getting serviced. They hooked up during the car hunt, and Ashanti later described him as husband material, someone who seemed like a jackpot. That jackpot came with a catch, though. He failed to mention he had a wife.
You have multiple men supporting your children.
Your Honor, I'm a full-time nursing student. I work 19 hours a week, and I get paid $7.25 an hour. I have 3 children. My oldest boy plays football. I need help. If I can't do it for the kids, if they need something, if I can't do it.
Even after their relationship fizzled out, Ashanti kept Sam in her life as her mechanic, but let's not pretend that was all. According to her, she came in one day and couldn't afford to pay for repairs, and Sam hinted at a different kind of payment. She left that day with her car, her cash, and allegedly a pregnancy.
You were her personal mechanic?
Yes, Your Honor. But the thing is, me and my wife were separated at the time. She actually broke it off with me instantly then.
And you didn't see him anymore?
Only to get my car worked on. I still kept him as my I still kept him as my.
Things escalated quickly after that. When she called to tell him she was expecting, Sam didn't question it. He accepted it, for a while at least. Then came the twist. A text message, meant for another man, landed in his inbox. It was filled with affection and gratitude, even thanking the other guy for everything he did for the kids. Wait, what?
Pay for your car repair?
She didn't get a car repair, Your Honor. She just got a written estimate that day.
I'm coming to pay him this day for what he had done to my car. I left with my car and I left pregnant. And I left with my money.
So you're saying that was the day you got pregnant?
Absolutely.
After that day that we had sex, I hadn't seen Miss Clifton for.
According to Ashanti, the other man never believed he was the father, but Sam wasn't convinced. Why would this other guy even be in the picture helping with the twins if he truly thought he had no biological ties?
Tell the man that this other man that's helping you thought it was a possibility that he was the twins' father.
He knows about Mr. Little. He knows that Mr. Little children. He knows that they are not his. This man knows that.
When confronted, Ashanti admitted the man thought there was a possibility the twins were his. Sam's trust crumbled. The mystery deepened when Sam revealed that he had gone to her house to bring goodies for the children, but he saw a man sneaking past him. Now, the seeds of doubt had been planted.
Is there any other reason you think
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay.
other man could be the father of the
Okay,
twins?
she sent me a text one night, and she said the kids have no Pampers, no milk. I leave my shop, go to Walmart, buy a big box of Pampers,
50 pack.
2 big containers of.
Ashanti had come with her mother as a witness that Sam was not acting right. The mother chalked everything down to jealousy. For her, Sam is jealous that Ashanti had other men in her life, and that's why he no longer wants to contribute to the children's welfare.
My name is Karan Clifton. Ashanti is my daughter.
Hello, ma'am. What would you like to add? What do you know about this situation?
Well, first of all, my daughter is self-sufficient. She's always worked and gone to school, and I'm very proud of her. Sam started out being a proud father.
As the moments dragged on, the pressure in the courtroom was almost unbearable. Samuel was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. He wanted to believe Ashanti, but the evidence didn't add up. Could the other man really be the father? When the DNA results finally came out, Judge Lake didn't waste words.
Mr. Little, you are not.
Ms. Schwartz stood before Judge Lake, her heart heavy with the weight of uncertainty. She was fighting for something more than just justice. She was fighting for the truth about her daughter, Azalyn. The 9-month-old child had become the center of a bitter dispute, and Ms. Schwartz was adamant that Mr. Hatton was the father.
Ms. Schwartz, you opened your case to prove to the defendant that he fathered your 9-month-old child, Azalyn.
Yes.
You understand his doubt, but state he is her father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Hatton, however, had a completely different story. He wasn't just denying the paternity of Azalyn, he was convinced that the birth father was someone else entirely, Ms. Schwartz's husband. Yes, her husband.
Mr. Hatt, you claim you are not Azalyn's dad and are certain that her biological father is another man, and that man is the plaintiff's husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you have petitioned the court for a polygraph test on Ms. Schwartz to determine the extent of her alleged affairs. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Schwartz revealed that despite the couple's 2 other children, Mr. Hatton had coldly refused to accept his potential role in Azalyn's life. Her words were filled with the pain of rejection, as she spoke of her daughter's disappointment when she looked up at her supposed father. There were moments, Ms. Schwartz admitted, when it felt like Mr. Hatton was more involved with everyone but her daughter.
Why are today's results so important to you? What does it feel like that he's denying your child?
It hurts. It really does hurt because we have 2 other children together and he fathers them, but little Azalyn is left out.
And you can feel that difference.
I feel my daughter's pain whenever she looks up at him.
But Mr. Hatton fired back with accusations that cut to the core. According to him, Ms. Schwartz's life was reckless. She had a history of jumping from one relationship to another, and he wasn't about to be dragged into a situation he didn't believe in.
Your Honor, I have reason to believe that she's not at work like she's saying she is, okay? Who makes almost $11 an hour, paid every 2 weeks, and only brings home $100? I mean, come on. I was born at night, just not last night.
What the heck is going on? Oh, but it wasn't over. The twists kept coming. It was evident that the boyfriend's emotions had gotten the better of him. If only Ms. Schwartz would stop going to her husband.
You in bed with your boyfriend calling your husband to cry to him about how horrible your boyfriend is.
Yeah. I mean, how am I supposed to feel?
Oh, excuse me, hold up. You sat there in bed with me in the same bed with you calling your ex, so what makes it different?
But here's
Hatton claimed Schwartz disappeared multiple times and magically returned pregnant. He wasn't impressed, and to make things even more chaotic, he claimed she broke the news while walking out of a bathroom bar where he had been shooting pool. Not exactly your typical pregnancy reveal. Despite all the drama, Hatton stuck around during the pregnancy, but now he wanted nothing to do with the baby because he was convinced she wasn't his.
Involved in the pregnancy when Aslan was born? Were you there? When
I was involved in her pregnancy, even though I don't think the child's mine. I wanted to be a support for her.
He went to the doctor's appointments.
He did?
He was excited about the gender whenever I found out at 10 weeks pregnant.
I ain't gonna lie, but
Schwartz said she practically begged him to get the DNA test done so he could claim Aslan and help her get insurance, but Hatton refused, saying he was just the caretaker of the child, not the father.
I wanted to go to the child support office right after I got out of the hospital to prove to you that she was your daughter, and you didn't even want to go.
So take me to the birth. When Aslan was born, the day she was born.
man, she wanted me to look between her legs and pull the baby out. I ain't no doctor.
Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for, the entrance of Ms. Schwartz's husband, Mark. He stepped into the courtroom to give his perspective, and what followed was explosive. Mark told the court how he had learned about the relationship and the multiple others Ms. Schwartz had been involved in. It was clear that the dynamics of their relationship had been anything but smooth.
How did you first find out about Mr. Hatton?
She told me she was cheating on me, and I let her go.
And I was also calling him on the phone right in front of you.
Yeah, and you guys even got into an argument one night, and I picked the phone up, called Hatton back, and talked you guys through it.
The drama didn't end there either. Mark also revealed that he had even tried to mediate between his wife and Mr. Hatton. As the case reached its peak, it seemed that nothing was certain anymore except the results.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Hatton.
For over 2 decades, Don Baron had lived with a nagging suspicion, one that gnawed at him every time he wrote a child support check. He had spent more than $20,000 supporting a boy he was told was his son, all while battling a gut feeling that something didn't add up. And now, standing in front of Judge Lake, he was finally about to find out the truth.
Good day, Mr. Here today, along with your wife, to seek a long overdue test. You claim that Ms. Bradshaw, you are her father for 20 years, and has financially by forcing you to pay court for a child you isn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Bradshaw, the child's mother, had maintained for years that Don was the father, but here's where things get messy. She'd also told her son, Ian, that another man, Mike, was his real dad.
Bradshaw, you admit, Ian Scott, by lying to him, fathers, you claim you believe Mr. Barron is your son's father. A moment, and you are his DNA, finally his full identity.
Yes.
Now,
Don's wife, Sharon, wasn't buying any of it. She called Bradshaw a liar through and through, adamant that Don was sterile. In 25 years of being together, she'd never gotten pregnant, not once. And now, she had to watch as her husband's name was dragged through the mud, accused of fathering a child with another woman.
why do you believe Ms. Bradshaw is lying about son's father?
She's a liar. I've been with him for years and I don't have any turn to him.
How could you be with him for 20? My son is 25. With him at the same time?
Hold on, we're still coming to you, Sharon. But why would someone go to such lengths? Well, Bradshaw admitted it herself. She was ashamed. Of what? Of Don. Apparently their relationship had ended badly, with accusations flying in all directions.
Hold on one second. Now, Mrs. Barron, why do you believe she's lying? I mean, this has been a long accusation. Your husband's been child support. Why?
She's a liar. She said it was his child. He believed responsibility for it.
The air was thick with drama, and the twists kept coming. She accused Don of cheating. He claimed she slept with his brother. Oh, and now she's dating his cousin. Yep, it's that kind of story.
You thought
thought he was going to take the DNA test.
Yes.
Why didn't you take the DNA, Mr. Barron?
Because then she started cheating on me, sleeping around, and I it was over.
Remember Mike? The one that was allegedly the real dad? Well, get this. Sharon took Ian to the man's grave year after year, feeding him a lie while cashing Don's child support checks. A graveyard visit became a yearly tradition, all based on fiction.
Miss Bradshaw, I need to. You took your son to the grave. The deceased man that told him was his father.
Yes, I did. And I was wrong, totally wrong for doing it because I.
When you took him to the grave.
The courtroom was a battlefield. Sharon wasn't just standing by her man, she was ready to tear Bradshaw apart. As for Don, he confessed he once believed Ian was his. Back in the day, Bradshaw told him he was the dad, played the love card, and he fell for it. No DNA test, no questions asked, until she dropped the bombshell.
Mr. Barron, so even after all these years that you've paid child support, in your heart you have doubt. You don't believe you're his father.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm hoping I am, but...
You are hoping that your statement to the court, you enumerated many reasons.
And let's not forget the son, Ian. He'd lived 25 years not knowing who his real father was. Told one thing, then another. He eventually learned the man in the grave couldn't be his dad because Bradshaw only got with Mike after Ian was born. That hit hard. Ian broke down, recounting how he'd gone to the grave whenever life got tough, talking to the headstone like it was his dad, only to find out the truth through rumors.
The deceased man's grave and telling you that that was your father.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel? How are you?
When I first found out that his dad wasn't my father, I was just devastated. I was very hurt, and emotions built up.
The emotional toll was crippling. Don, despite everything, hoped Ian was his son, that maybe, just maybe, there was a silver lining to all the pain and betrayal. He wanted closure. Sharon? She wanted vindication. Bradshaw? She just wanted the chaos to end. And Judge Lake? Well, she had the answer. Everyone in that courtroom was desperate to hear.
Mr. Barron, you are not the father.
Samantha Dixon had dragged herself to court after a long, painful battle with stage 3 lymphoma. She wasn't here for money or sympathy, she just wanted the truth. All her life, she'd carried the weight of rejection from a man who, at first, seemed to embrace her. Then suddenly he turned cold, distant, and eventually absent. And now, standing across from her in court, he had only one thing to say. He wasn't her father.
Oh, Ms. Dixon, today you come to court after a very difficult journey and some grave health issues. Statement. You say you believe that Mr. Froyo is your father.
She described the emotional toll it had taken on her over the years, especially in her battle with cancer. Samantha's words were quiet, yet every one of them hit the courtroom with a weight that no one could ignore. She recalled the time when she was 10 years old attending her grandmother's funeral. It was a day that should have been filled with grief and comfort, but instead, it was marred by trauma.
How does it make you feel that Mr. Froyo is denying you?
It makes me angry and hurt. I was diagnosed with cancer, and recently I've been very ill. I would like my father to be there. I want to know. I'm 25, I've gone this far, I don't want anything from him.
How could a father, even one with doubts, say something so cold? But the story was messier than that. Samantha's mother flat out denied the existence of this so-called other man. She insisted that Froyo denied Samantha because she was born a girl.
Froyo, why are you so sure that you're not Miss Dixon's father? Because she truly feels rejected by you.
Well, she was about 6 or 7 years old. I had contacted her mother, which is to the right of her right now, and asked if I could take her out for her birthday and buy her stuff.
She recalled how he abandoned her at the hospital right after the birth, refusing to even sign the child's last name as Froyo because apparently it would upset his mother. That's why Samantha's last name was Dixon. Convenient, isn't it?
I don't deny anything.
He wanted a boy. He left me in the hospital right after I gave birth and did not come back to that hospital.
Today will prove it, Your Honor.
This will prove it today.
Like he said, he's got older children. All 4 of us are in a row, from oldest to youngest. My name's on his arm.
For Mr. Froyo, things weren't so simple. He claimed he had been told by another man that Samantha wasn't his child. That random man, according to Froyo, boldly approached him and declared he was Samantha's birth father and had no interest in proving it officially. Froyo held on to that statement like gospel. It confirmed his suspicions, and he distanced himself from Samantha even more.
Even 5 years ago.
5 years ago, my son and myself were in Florida, and this gentleman came in, which was a friend of his. He goes, Samantha has never been your daughter. I go, what do you mean? My son sat next to me. He says, she's mine, and I'll never go to New York State to prove any different.
Well, I'd like to know who he is, really.
According to Samantha, she was part of his life until she wasn't. She recounted moments of love, racing motorcycles together, him calling her by a nickname, making her feel special, and then it all disappeared. He began denying her, first quietly, then loudly. He told her she wasn't his, not once or twice, but at every major stage of her life. First at 8, then again at 15, then again at 17, and now, at 25, she was still chasing answers.
Circumstances.
When I was about 13, no, it was when my grandmother died, so we'll say from 10 to 13, he was dating a girl who didn't like me. She considered me to be a ghetto hood rat because I didn't have the best of the best. So I called his phone, because I always find his number. I have his number now, because I've never let go of the memories when I was 5.
Despite all that, she still reached out. She called him, searched for his number, and held on to memories of the man who once showed her affection. But each time she reached out, she got nothing but rejection.
Tell you,
Miss Dixon.
At 14, I went down the wrong path. I decided that I didn't have a dad. I had no male figure in my life to lay the law. My mom was working 60 hours a week to support the home. She had 2 other kids besides me. 14, I reached out to boys.
He signed the birth certificate. He tattooed her name on his arm. He once called her his good luck charm. Yet here they were, in court, and he was swearing up and down that she wasn't his daughter. His attitude towards her was toxic, with a capital T.
And she told me that he wasn't my father, which is why I'm here today, because I don't need a sympathy and I don't need a charity case. I've done enough without his help. I really don't need him. I just want to know that this next battle of cancer that I'm facing.
Judge Lake wasn't having any of Froyo's cold detachment. She questioned his lack of compassion, especially given Samantha's health struggles. But Froyo stayed firm. He wanted proof. That's what he came for, and Judge Lake was ready to deliver.
Mr. Froyo, you are her father.
Told you. It was Father Ashley.
They'd been together for years, had 5 children, and had countless arguments. But today, they weren't here to argue. They were here for a truth that could shatter what little was left of their relationship. The tension between Alexandra Douglas and Tyrone Jones could be sliced with a knife. She insisted he was the father of her daughter, Cheyenne. He wasn't so sure.
Ms. Douglas, you are suing the father of your 5 children for a paternity test. You claim at times the defendant, Mr. Jones, doesn't treat your daughter, Cheyenne, as his own, and that he has always been suspicious that he's not her biological father.
Let's just say their love story wasn't your average fairy tale. And when the court pulled back the curtain on their chaotic relationship, things got messy, fast.
Do you believe the defendant has reason to doubt the paternity of Cheyenne?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I did make a mistake. I slept with his cousin and the condom had broke. But before that, Tyrone was downstairs sleeping with my cousin. He was still having sex with his baby's mom.
Wow, indeed. It turned out that they met at a party in her building, hit it off, and within a day, they were in bed. But it didn't end there. Tyrone had other relationships, other baby mamas, and wasn't exactly faithful. Alexandra, well, she wasn't innocent either.
How did you meet? Was this relationship ever good?
It got good. I met Tyrone actually at a party that happened downstairs in my building. I met him and his cousin almost the same night. Me and Tyrone got together. The first night we watched movies. The next night we did have sex, but we weren't.
She admitted to sleeping with Tyrone's cousin, and not just any cousin, but the same one Tyrone had accused her of hooking up with when he literally smelled the guy's cologne on her bed. Yes, Tyrone walked into her room, sniffed the sheets, and caught the scent of betrayal. She denied it at first, but 2 years later, she came clean.
Sort of. We actually wasn't in a relationship at the time when she slept with my cousin, but she basically just denied doing it up until the point. That's the reason we here now.
Okay. What did you feel, Mr. Jones, when you heard Ms. Douglas say, "I'm pregnant and it's..."
Now Tyrone was doubting everything, including whether Cheyenne was truly his. He had been suspicious from the start. When Alexandra told him she was pregnant, he didn't jump for joy. Still, he claimed he stepped up, signed the birth certificate, showed up when he could, and even worked 2 jobs.
So you go in and you smell, you know the cologne, your cousin, you say, okay, I know my cousin was here, but she denied everything. How long did it take you to tell the truth?
2 years after my daughter was 2 years old.
Okay, so you are in this, are you in a committed relationship?
No.
According to her, he didn't care, didn't support her, and vanished for months when she was pregnant with their son, running off to Chicago with another baby mama. She didn't find out from him. Oh no, she got a message from the other woman, gloating about having her man.
When the baby was 2, he went to Chicago with his other's baby mama. We were together then, and I'm pregnant with his son. He went to Chicago. We didn't hear from him for about 4 months. Didn't call, check up on the daughter, didn't call, check up on the pregnancy or nothing. How I knew he was in Chicago with his baby mama was she texted my phone like, "Oh, you're looking for your man?"
Judge Lake didn't hold back. She was baffled, trying to make sense of this whirlwind of relationships, children, and cheating. She asked the tough questions. Was this ever a real relationship? Was there ever any commitment? Or were they just co-parenting while destroying each other emotionally?
It's as if you're speaking about this thing like it's, oh yeah, because I was with my other child's mother and I just went on to Chicago and then he went there. And, I mean, you all 5 children potentially together. Was your relationship ever committed? Was it ever an important thing to either one of you?
Their story was a twisted cycle of betrayal, When one cheated, the other followed suit. Alexandra wanted to believe in their family. She claimed she didn't believe in cheating, but her actions told a different story. Every time he cheated, she struck back. It wasn't about love anymore. It was about payback. And now, Tyrone was questioning everything, even whether he should test the twins because he wasn't sure if they were his either.
Even after child number 2, you think he's cheating?
Yeah. I just had my twins 7 months ago. He's still talking to women. I don't never talk to anybody first. After I find out he cheats on me, that's when I do it. I really do want to be with him, and I want to make a family for my 5 kids.
Now, Ms. Douglas, you just keep saying, okay, now see, I do.
But today the focus was Cheyenne. And after all the messy details, the lies, the betrayals, the cousin drama, there was still one burning question. Was Tyrone Cheyenne's biological father? The courtroom fell silent as Judge Lake dropped the bomb.
Mr. Jones, you are not